I remember when I was a kid in elementary school and I was in fourth or fifth grade and we were taking a standardized test. I think it was called the FCAT. And so I remember them giving us the test scores and it was like on this folded piece of paper. And so I remember that day after school was finished, I remember seeing my mom's car pulling up in the car loop and I had my test scores and I didn't open them until I got like inside of the car. And so I opened those test scores and I see that I actually did really good on the test. I think I got 2 4s or like a 5 and a 4, which is like one of the highest scores you could get. So the thing is, as a kid, I knew I was pretty smart, but I didn't actually quite know my potential. I didn't know like how capable I actually was as a kid. The thing is, when it comes to knowing your potential, there's 3 types of people. There's people that are ignorant of their potential, which means that they don't actually know what they are truly capable of. They can't perceive, they can't see that image of the person that they want to become. And so usually these people are actually like pretty happy and content because they don't know what like their actual limit is. So they live their lives here, but they're unaware that they can get to here. So they just keep living here. And since they're unaware of it, they don't really care that they don't have that, right? And so that's where the saying ignorance is bliss comes from, is because like if you don't know, then why care about it, right? Because you don't even know what to care about. And so that was me as a kid, right? I didn't really know my true capabilities, my true potential. And so the second type of person is the person that actually knows their potential. They know what they can reach, but they consciously choose to stay down here. They consciously choose not to improve their life, not to like improve everything about themselves. And so these are the people that know their potential, but choose not to act. Now, for 2 or 3 years, when I was like 15, 16, 17 years old, that gray area, that was me. I actually knew what I was capable of. I knew that I could get the things that I wanted, but I chose for a few years to just stay down here, to just not take any action. And so these people are the most miserable. I remember these times. When you know what you're capable of, but make the conscious choice to stay down, you're literally fighting demons, bro. I remember that I always had this constant state of background anxiety when I was living like this, because it was like, okay, I know that I could get those things, but it's too hard. Like, I don't want to work, or I'm scared that doing this is going to change my life. I'm scared that if I try, I might actually succeed. And if I succeed, that means that I have to keep doing this hard work. And so I remember just having this constant state of anxiety because I didn't shoot for it. I didn't go for it. And so the third type of person is a person that knows their potential and actually takes action and wants to improve their life, right? And starts taking the steps to reach that potential. And so the thing is about this type of person is they're still going through pain, they're still going through failure, they're still going through like a lot of things, but those things are actually shaping them as the person that they want to become, right? As they reach their potential, as they get closer and closer to becoming the person that they want to become, they're getting happier and happier. And now the thing is about this person is that sure, they're going through pain, sure, they're going through failure, sure, they're going through a lot of things, but that's actually shaping them to become like that person. Now, the thing is, a lot of people think that this path is harder, that having those goals and then like shooting for the goals, shooting for the stars is harder. But I actually believe the opposite. I believe the people that know what their goals are, that actively choose to stay down here and don't even progress towards them, I think that those people actually live the hard lives because they have to live every single day knowing that they can be here and choosing to stay down here, choosing not to be better, choosing not to improve, even though they know what they're capable of. That, to me at least, is like the worst version of life that you could live. Because if you're aware of the fact that you can be a more caring person, a more loving person, if you're aware of the fact that you can have better mental health, if you're aware of the fact that you can make better friendships with healthier people, if you're aware of the fact that you can become stronger and more athletic, but you actively choose to keep your life 5 to 6 levels down below where you could be, that to me is the ultimate low point. That to me is like knowing what you're capable of and not going for it at all has to be like the worst version of life that you could possibly live. Now, the thing is about these 3 different categories is that people want the results, right? They want the improved mental health. They want the increased income. They want more friends. They want better charisma. People want the results of like being successful, but no one wants to put the work in, right? The thing is, even if you got all of the results of being successful, you would not be happy. Even if you got everything that you wanted physically, you would not be happy. Something that people have to realize is that money is not going to make them happy. Money is not going to fulfill them. Even if you are making $1 million a year, you'd be happy for a little bit. You're like, oh wow, $1 million. And then you're spending that money doing stuff all the time. But after that, you get used to it. And then you need more money. And then even if you got that money, you get used to it and then you need more. And then it's a hedonic treadmill. No matter how much money you get, you will not be happier than you are right now. Currently, right now, you will not be happier. So before you embark on any journey to change yourself or to reach the point that you actually want to reach, before you embark on that journey, keep in mind that if you're not doing something that fulfills you and that actually makes you happy, you're never going to be happy. And so if you chase material things, if you chase money, if you chase a bigger house, if you chase cars, stuff like that, it's not going to make you happy. You will never be more free than you are in this present moment. So realize that money is nice, but it's never going to fulfill you. I remember the days where I used to play video games all the time. And so I remember being super comfortable. And when I was playing the video games, even though I wanted to achieve bigger things in my life than sitting around playing video games all day, I was actually kind of comfortable and I was kind of okay with where I was at. And I was like, okay, like I could be doing this right now, but the video games, like I like to playing video games. So it doesn't really matter. You know, I'm just going to do what I enjoy. The thing that I didn't realize was that a lot of people say that fear of failure is like the biggest fear that people have, right? And for sure, I was afraid of failure at the time, right? But that actually wasn't my biggest fear. What if I told you that the fear that controlled me the most was actually the fear of success? The fear that if I started to go to the gym and change like the way that I looked and I saw improvements, right? And I got stronger, then that would mean that I could change. That would mean that it is possible to change the way that you look. That would mean that now I have to start going to the gym because it means that I can change myself. It means that it is possible. And so I had this idea in my head of, okay, if I just believe that it's not possible, if I just believe that I can't change myself, then I don't actually have to try and change. But now that I know that I can change, now that I know that it's possible, means that now I have to change. Now I have to start going to the gym every day. Now I have to start changing, right? Now I know I'm capable of it. And if I know I'm capable of it, that means that I can either choose to act on it or choose not to act on it. But if I know that it exists, if I know that I can change myself, that's scary because now I have the choice. Before I didn't really want even the choice. Like, oh, it doesn't make a difference. No point in trying. But now that I saw it makes a difference, that's not an argument in my head anymore. That means that I actually have to change in order to grow. That means that now it's in my head that it's possible. And the fact that it's in my head is scary because now I can't say that it's impossible for me anymore. Now I can't say that, oh, it's genetics. I can't get strong in the gym, it's genetics. So I was actually more scared of making progress and succeeding and seeing progress than not. Because if I saw progress, that means that it actually is possible. And at the time, I didn't want to believe that it was possible. I didn't want to believe that I could do it. Because if I didn't believe that I could do it, it means I could have like an excuse to be lazy. It means that, oh, he's just lucky that he has genetics and I can sit there playing my games. But now that I saw it was possible, it means I had to get to work. It means like now that's not a good excuse anymore. I remember when I first started meditating and realizing that there's so many things that I'm doing unconsciously. I thought that I was in control of a lot of things, but most of my life felt like I was in control, but it was actually automatic. Me waking up and going to the game room to play video games, it was automatic. I wasn't thinking about it when I woke up. It was just happening. And so when I started to meditate, I started to realize that this was actually happening. And so something that I learned was that 80 to 90% of what we do is automatic. And so if you're not aware of the bad things that you automatically do, if you don't see them, if you don't have that mindfulness to see them, it's going to cause you to keep doing that thing without even realizing it for the rest of your life. So meditating really helps with this. If you can meditate every day, 5 to 10 minutes, it's really going to help with your mindfulness and being aware of those things that you shouldn't be doing. Something I want you to realize is that you have ancestors who literally went to war, fought and died so that you could be here today, so that you could be alive today. You have an incredible bloodline of people who have literally struggled and survived just so that you could be here today. So were you really born to fit in with everybody else? Or do you think that just maybe you were born to be different? Do you really believe that your ancestors died so that you can sit on your bed and scroll on Instagram for the rest of your life? Think about that. You are literally the living extension of your ancestors. You are literally sharing the exact same blood and the exact same DNA as your ancestors. And so they are living through you. They are living through you. Their legacy lives through you. And so do you really think that they died so that you can become addicted to social media and addicted to modern pleasures? You have a deeper, greater purpose on this earth than you possibly could imagine. So don't let their death be in vain. Addiction is literally everywhere these days. In modern times, things like video games, social media, junk food, literally the news is becoming an addiction now. There's so many different things. We're in a world where now there's more addictions that are possible than ever before in human history. And if you think it's bad now, it is going to get worse. And so the thing is, most likely you have an addiction that you don't really want. The chances are there is something that you're doing that you don't want. But the beautiful thing about it is that if you can learn how to break the addiction, if you can learn how to escape from the grasp of these addictions, it's going to set you up for success in the future, because as more and more addictive things come later in the future from technology, from AI, as more and more addictive things come, you will be prepared because you already have in your head, you already know how to quit. And so if you can learn now how to quit whatever addiction you have, then in the future, it's going to be a lot easier to not become addicted to those things. And even if you do end up addicted to those things, you know how to break free. And so the people who actually learn how to break free will have an immense advantage versus the people who don't. They're going to have better mental health, better mental clarity, better overall physical health too. And so with that comes a clearer mind, a healthier mind, and overall happier people. And so I want you to be honest. The last time that you scrolled, did you actually enjoy it? After you finished scrolling, did you feel any better? Did it actually make you feel better about your life? Of course not. As soon as you finished scrolling, you felt unfulfilled. You felt empty. You felt like you literally wasted time. But the thing is, you keep going back to it. It makes you feel bad. Why do you keep going back to it? Big tech has literally brainwashed and manipulated you to think that it's healthy, to think that it's okay if you spend a little bit of time scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on TikTok. And so by doing this, they get you onto their platform. And as soon as you're on their platform, you know this. As soon as you're on the reels, it's like 20-30 minutes go by just like that. And so I want you to realize that big tech has literally brainwashed everybody to think that it's normal to be scrolling all day. So that's why everyone else does it, right? And so when everyone else is doing it and you're the one not doing it, you're like the weird guy for not doing it. But I want you to think about this. If I wanted to be a multi-billionaire and I wanted everyone in the world to be addicted to what I had, would I say that it was a bad thing? Would I say that no one should be doing it? Of course not. I would say that literally it's okay. I say, oh yeah, it's okay if you spend a little bit of time. It's okay if you do this, that. Everyone else is doing it. Why shouldn't you do it, right? That's the mentality that we have as human beings. And so this is something that big tech has literally taken advantage of us by showing everyone else does it, by making it normal for everyone else to be stuck on a screen. They make more money and you spend more money on their apps. So we've literally, as like a generation, have been brainwashed to think that it's normal. We've been manipulated to think that since everyone else is doing it, it's okay if we do it. And so the people that actually point this out are like ostracized. They're seen as like the weird people, right? I'm like seen as the weird person for pointing this out, for saying that you shouldn't be scrolling. But the thing is that deep down, you know life is better without it. Deep down, you remember how you felt as a kid when like you were at a playground enjoying life. You know what it feels like, and you know you don't actually need it, and you know that it is brainwashing by these big tech companies. It is literally manipulation. But some part of you wants to go back on it. Some part of you might even think that you're addicted to it. So what's the solution? You might be like waiting for me to say some crazy thing, some crazy program, but the solution is actually so easy. Literally just put your phone down. Like literally put your phone down and leave, go outside or go to another room. That's all that it requires. You don't have to be addicted. The moment that you put your phone down and say that you're not addicted is when you're not addicted. So take that step right now. Your future literally depends on it. If you're new to the channel, make sure you go down right now and subscribe. And also leave a comment down below telling me your story. My name is Justin, and remember, you deserve the consequences of your actions.